Formula One is back. The cars are back in action, the drivers are behind the wheel, and welcome to my review of their liveries in the 2025 season. And let's start with Kick Sauber, and they've got a very interesting livery this year. And of course, this is the last livery they'll have until they become Audi in 2026. So they've got the green on the front and then black on the back, and I like how they shaded it in, and it looks a bit like one of those customized designs you get on the F1 games, and I think it's going to be one of those really good iconic liveries, and can't wait to see how Nico Hülkenberg and Gabriel Bontoletto will do. Hopefully better than the Kick Sauber team did last year. Next is Atlassian Williams Racing, and their drivers are Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon, and this is their car, and they've gone for light blue, and the Union Jack kind of design on their body is gone, and I see on their nose they've gone for more of a darker blue on the front, and I think it's quite interesting. And of course they've got the Atlassian logo on the side. Next is, let's hope I get this name right, Visa Cash App Racing Balls. Yes! And the drivers are Yuki Tsunoda and another newcomer, Isaac Hadjar. And this is their gorgeous new car. The mighty Red Bull has turned into a beautiful white swan. And let me show you last year's livery and this year's. I mean, that is a massive difference. Of course, we know that this team has had some completely new changes over the years, ever since they became AlphaTauri in 2020, and this one is amazing. This is, I have to say, the best livery this team has ever made since they were Minardi back in 1985 when they started, and I can imagine that Yuki Tsunoda must be really happy to stay with this team instead of Red Bull, because this is definitely the best looking car of the two. And now for the Haas F1 team, and the drivers are Esteban Ocon and Oliver Behrman. And here is their livery. Of course, this was the livery that they had during testing before they were going to do the big car reveal. But the only thing I could see different from this year's to last year is they've got white on the side pods instead of black, and the rest looks the same, but it still looks as good as it was last year. Next is Alpine, a team that has impressed us so much at the Brazilian Grand Prix with that double podium that came out of nowhere. And the drivers are Pierre Gasly and another new rookie, Jack Doohan. He may be new, but he still knows what he's doing. Pardon the pun. But here's the livery, and whoa, completely different. And I like how they covered up all the carbon fibre. Man, last year so much of it was showing, but this year I can't see one bit of it except for the floor. But if you take a look at the front, it looks even better. I mean, look at it. Whoa. That is an even more mightier look, and I can see a lot of drivers would love to see that in their mirror when they get overtaken by the Alpine. Aston Martin, I've been expecting you. And I hear that your drivers are still Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll. And here is their livery, and I've noticed at the bottom on the side pods that there's some carbon fibers showing, which is interesting. I think they're doing it to save weight, I believe. Maybe we'll have to find out to see how it performs. And of course the whites from their new sponsor is showing on the top of the car, and I love how the wheel covers are yellow instead of whites this year, so they're going to stand out much more than last year. And of course the number is yellow too, and also the halo is back as green instead of black. So I think that this could be one of the coolest liveries on the grid. And now we are entering the top 4 teams, and those are the teams that have been winning races last year. And we start with Mercedes, and the drivers are George Russell and the new boy Kimi Antonelli. Yep, we've got a new Kimi in Formula 1, and this is their new car. And the first thing we've noticed is that the red from the top bit of the car is gone, and that's all I can see that's changed, but it still looks pretty good, right? Next is the mighty Oracle Red Bull Racing, and the drivers are the reigning world champion Max Verstappen and his new teammate Liam Lawson. And this is going to be the first season he's had that he's going to complete the whole way. And here's their livery. Well, that's it really, it's the same as last year's, but still looks pretty good. And well, there's not much that needs to be changed because it's already as perfect as it was since they first revealed their livery anyway, back in 2005. But now it's time to talk about the god of all F1 teams, a team that has started since the very beginning of Formula 1. It's the blood-thirsting Ferrari, and the drivers are Sir Lewis Hamilton. Gosh, I can't wait to see him this season in a Ferrari. And of course, Charles Leclerc. And here's their livery, and they've gone back to the dark red. And interestingly, what I find so familiar about this livery is the first thing that popped into my head was a classic F1 car. Well, a few classic F1 cars, because this was a livery that Ferrari used to use back in the past in the early 2000s, and it's so good to see a good old team bring back a good old livery, and I love it to pieces. And finally, the Constructors' Champions, McLaren, and the drivers are Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. And here is their new car, which is roughly the same as last year, but there is a few differences on aerodynamics, the bodywork and the aero package, but I still love it. And that's all of the F1 teams and my review of their liveries. And which one is your favourite? Let me know in the comments. And which F1 team do you think will win the Constructors' Championship? Let me know in the comments of that as well. And thank you all very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out my other accounts as well. And see you in the next video.